What's going on, Jerome? So yes, your Minnesota Vikings got it done in very dramatic fashion, 31-29 over the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers. Now, yeah, they had a 28-0 lead. Did they win? Yes. Also, I know that people are pissing and moaning, but feels like a win is a win. And did the Vikings ever trail in this game? I don't know. Math ain't mathin'. Either way, I also wonder, would it be better if the Vikings had won like a back and forth instant classic type game, or if it had to be this completely binary, very good first half, very bad second half type game? I don't know. But either way, Vikings are indeed 4-0. They're 3-0 in conference. They're 1-0 in division with a game on the road in pocket. So either way, got to feel good. Got to feel good about things. Now, I understand in the moment, maybe it doesn't feel good. But for me, I think this might be the best possible scenario for the Vikings because week 5 in London, you're already feeling yourself. You're 4-0, and you blew out the Texans, and you beat the Niners' ass. You blew out the Giants. And heading into London, like maybe you're thinking, okay, we're going to be 5-0. No problem. The Jets just lost to the Broncos, but can't be like that. Cannot be like that. And your Vikings, there's things to work on. So like I said, this would be perfect because you got the win, but also guess who's going to be chewing asses this week? Kevin O'Connell. Guess who's going to be kicking asses this week? Brian Flores. There's going to be a lot of ass chewing and kicking this week. So here are 10 things the Vikings need to improve on. Number 1, don't get cocky, kids. So, I mean, yes, you beat the Giants' ass week 1. Awesome. You handled the Niners, and the final score was not indicative to how one-sided this game was. The Texans game was an ass-whooping, and the Packers should have been an ass-whooping, but is a very near-run thing at the end. But good teams win. Great teams leave no doubt. And just like you and me, everyone in that locker room is feeling good, but not as good as they probably should be being 4-0. But that's a good thing because say the Vikings held on and they won like 42-0. Could be way too overconfident heading into London and then heading into the bye week. I mean, you can get complacent, right? And then the meat of the schedule coming up. I mean, the Vikings, they got to stay focused. And this probably was a good wake-up call for the Vikings. We are very good, but we are fallible, right? And we can get got on a given day. Next up, number 2. Working on getting Jefferson early looks because it seems like too often, and this is the last couple of years too, where the announcers would be like, oh, Justin Jefferson hasn't had a target yet, and it's almost halftime or whatever. But, getting Jefferson early looks, I understand early plays are scripted. I understand that the defense's modus operandi is stopping at 18. But, JJ, getting him a rhythm early opens things up for everyone else. And Kevin O'Connell is very good at scheming Jefferson open, whether it's motions, whether it's unique alignments, maybe he's in the backfield, maybe he's in the slot. There's lots of ways. But either way, getting 18 going earlier in the game makes a ton of sense. Next up, number 3, interior pass rush. So the edge has been great, and the Vikings were leading the NFL in sacks, now have 17, but they weren't getting too much from the interior outside of blitzing, right? And something needs to give. And maybe it is a spot where Levi Drake Rodriguez needs to finally be active because you're not getting a ton from the interior pass rush. Like Harrison Phillips had his moments, yes. Tillery a little bit, sure. Hadi Ward when he's been lined up on the interior, yes. But I don't know, just like getting home with 4, you need that interior pass rush. Don't get me wrong, edge has been great. But getting something from the inside makes sense. Number 4, 4th and inches play calling. So I feel like this has been a thing for Kevin O'Connell for a while, right? And you can be too cute. I mean, yeah, run the jet sweep with Naylor. It's fantastic when it works out, but you got a bad spot, and you got to play better than the ref's ref. So I do think that O'Connell sometimes has to simplify things. And can we just get back to, hey, we're going to run power straight into your face, and if you stop it 3 times in a row, best of luck to you. Hats off. You win. Number 5, running efficiency. So, like we said, the power running game and the Vikings running game has been pretty damn solid. It's been the best part of the offensive line so far. But against the Packers, running backs average 3.9 yards per carry. It's simply not good enough. And some of the efficiency goes into, hey, instead of second and 5, all of a sudden it's 2nd and 7. Or things like that. So, being able to get some movement on the ground, changing up concepts, and running more power in there with the outside zone as well does make sense. Now, next up, number 6, being able to stop the bleeding. So, the concept of quicksand, or whatever you want to call it, snowballing. I mean, there's lots of terms for it. But if something bad happens or something doesn't go your way, do you get up and get after it, or does it fester and then grow and grow and grow? Because Niners game, you had the Aaron Jones, Fred Warner fumble at the 1, and then the Niners marched 99 yards for a touchdown. That really put the game within reach for San Francisco. But also, with the Packers game, just allowing them to creep back in is like you're up 28-0. All of a sudden, the fumble 6, or the muff punt, and then all of a sudden you had the fumble, you had the interception that was interception. Also, Sam Darnold's arm was clearly moving forward on that, but but you have to focus. You have to be able to not be concerned about what just happened. Can you string together one play, one drive, one stanza, and you got to be able to do that. So I think the Vikings were able to do that against San Francisco. They were able to do that to a degree against the Packers, but also it's like what Belichick mentioned earlier in the week. The Vikings have to learn to play from behind. So what happens if you just get shellacked in the first half, right? And this team is ideally made to play with a lead, right? But what can you do to stop the negativity from flowing through? Like, can you make one good play and then a couple more good plays, right? Is this team built to be able to come back from deficits? We're going to have to see at some point during the season. Well, ideally we won't have to see, but obviously we are going to have to see. Number 7, rotation at cornerback. So Gilly and Shaq have played phenomenal on the outside. Byron Murph has had some struggles, but he finished the game strong against the Packers with the interception, with the forced fumble. Everything's looking good. But just like everyone in that defense, like, they were gassed. They were gassed at the end of that game. Now, it could be a unique circumstance, because it was hot in Green Bay, and obviously it's going to be cooler throughout the rest of the season. But also the tempo of the game, Packers in comeback mode, Vikings offense couldn't really stay on the field in the second half. But you got to keep guys fresh because they were just getting toasted on the back end there. And maybe it's about where Evans, Moreau, Nudie McLaughlin needs to get a couple snaps here or there, subbing out for the veterans, keeping them fresh. I don't know. It's potentially. Next up, number 8, tighten up special teams. So obviously the Naylor Muff was not good, and it was part and parcel because Brandon Powell was dinged up. So you don't have your usual punt returner. Now, was that on Speedy? Was that on coaching? I mean, there's a lot of things, but it just seems like every single game there's at least one special teams thing that you want back, whether it's Dallas Turner not downing a punt or not falling on a muff punt or this, that, or the other thing. But third phase is good. Respect what Coach Had does, and they still can get better. Right. Number 9, avoid chunk yardage late. So part of it is game script, part of it is fatigue, but it just seems like is it the the prevent defense late in games, but it just seems like when things go bad, things go bad. All right, and the Packers, 5 plays, 96 yards, like very little communication. Everyone was tired on the back end. It was just way too easy for the Packers to march 96 yards in 5 plays. Right, and it's a spot where if O'Connell knew that it was going to be that easy, would he have just taken the field goal, right? But, I mean, the defense is still legit, and I think there were some trying circumstances in this game, but there's things that they can work on. And lastly, number 10, red zone communication. So Packers were 4 or 5 in the red zone, scoring touchdowns. The Vikings are 7-14 on the season, 50%. It's not good enough, right? And I do think that in the compressed area, it does come down to communication. I mean, a lot of times, guys aren't trading off in zone. Guys are running free. There's stuff like that. But like we said, I mean, this is a perfect situation for the Vikings and their coaching staff where you get a win, nice, but you didn't play to your best of your ability all 60 minutes, so you get to kick some ass. And I think that's what the Vikings are exactly going to do. And frankly, I think this could be a good thing because maybe the Vikings, if they have to win in a blowout against the Packers, maybe they just sort of sleepwalk through the Jets game. They're looking ahead to the bye, looking ahead to Cabo, just like, whatever. But now, this is a wake-up call, right? And you could tell from some of the post-game pressers that a lot of the Vikings were like, happy we won by the skin of our teeth. All right, but it's all right. Take no opponent lightly, and don't be celebrating until that clock hits triple zeros. That's it, man. That's it. But your thoughts are thoughts. 10 things the Vikings still need to improve. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull, production value.